it's actually really important that communities are collecting reports about hate speech and hate conduct, because then we all get a better picture of what's actually happening in those communities. For example, I know recently there was a survey by the Asian Australian Alliance that within about 2 weeks of the COVID pandemic starting, they'd received about 178 reports of racism toward people of different Asian backgrounds during that period. And that information is really useful to us. And interestingly, we also started to see a spike in our inquiries also from that community. But it also helped us to know to reach out to that community to let them know that we do exist, that they've got rights, and that they can come to us for a resolution. So that intelligence and information is really important. We also have a community reporting tool where people can come to us in a really easy and accessible way to just report hate. And we're partnering with other organisations to host that tool. It's just a widget that you can put on your website. And so we're trying to develop alliances with other community organisations to put that on their website, because people, if they trust an organisation and that organisation trusts us, then that could be a really good link for people to come to us who might not otherwise. So that's really important. But I would say that we do really value and rely on our relationships and partnerships with community. For example, there was a collaboration that we did recently called Reducing Racism, and it was with African and Muslim communities. And we realised that those communities were experiencing hate and vilification and discrimination and racism, and they weren't coming to us, and so we wanted to reach out and do something about it. And we co-designed a number of education programs and resources with members of the community and peaks within the community, and tailored those resources so that it actually resonated for people in the community, so that they'd understand what their rights are and that they knew that we existed and that they could come to us to exercise those rights. We also worked with a number of young leaders in our African Ambassadors program in order to build their capacity and capability as advocates within their community, as human rights advocates. We worked with community members to produce a series of short films that were previewed in selected cinemas across the state. And that was about people from African, Australian backgrounds, young people sharing their experiences of racism so that people could understand the impact that racism actually has, and that the non-African community, if you like, sees a window into that. And the last thing we did was develop that community reporting tool that I mentioned, which is really about streamlining the process for people to come to us to make a report or to complain. So those sorts of collaborations are really critical, and that's why it's really important that we are able to work with communities